Think about the last time you made a money decision you regretted. Maybe you spent money you didn't have. Maybe you avoided a decision you knew you should have made. Maybe you watched an opportunity disappear and did nothing. If you've ever asked yourself, why do I keep doing this? You're not alone. And the answer probably isn't what you think. Because most people don't lose money because of bad luck. They lose it because of the way they think. Here's something that took most of us too long to understand. For most people, money isn't just money. It's tied to something much deeper. It's tied to identity, to self-worth, to how we see ourselves and how we think others see us. When we make a bad financial decision, when an investment fails, when a purchase turns out to be a mistake, when a plan falls apart, it doesn't just feel like a financial loss. It feels personal. It feels like proof that we're not smart enough, not disciplined enough, not good enough with money. And that emotional weight, that connection between our financial decisions and our sense of self, is where almost every money problem begins. The market doesn't beat people. Their own beliefs do. And what's true for investors is equally true for anyone navigating the financial decisions of everyday life. The problem isn't out there. It's in here. The first trap is one that almost nobody talks about, but almost everyone falls into. It's the need to be right. Think about a time you made a financial decision. Bought something, started something, committed to something, and then realized it wasn't working. Maybe early on, maybe pretty quickly. What did you do?
If you're honest, most people double down. They commit harder. They find reasons why it's actually fine, why it just needs more time, why it'll work eventually. Not because the facts support it, but because admitting the decision was wrong feels worse than losing the money.
This is what researchers have identified as one of the most costly psychological patterns in human financial behavior. The need to be right, to protect our self-image, overrides our ability to make clear, rational decisions. You see it everywhere. In people who stay in jobs they hate because leaving feels like admitting failure. In people who keep spending on a lifestyle they can't afford because cutting back feels like giving up. In people who hold on to a sinking plan long after the data said to stop. The decision stopped being about money a long time ago. It became about ego. And here's the difficult truth. The moment you stop needing to be right, the moment a bad decision can just be a bad decision, not an indictment of who you are, your financial life changes. The second trap is sneakier because it looks responsible. It even feels responsible. It's overpreparation. Think about how many people you know, maybe yourself, who have spent months, sometimes years, planning to get their finances in order, reading the right books, watching the right videos, making the perfect budget spreadsheet. And then nothing changes. Because as long as you're still planning, you can't fail. You're not wrong yet. The outcome is still uncertain. And uncertainty, even uncomfortable uncertainty, feels safer than the risk of being definitively wrong. This isn't laziness. This is fear operating at a very sophisticated level. Fear that's learned to wear the costume of diligence. The question isn't whether you know what to do. Most people do. The question is what's really happening in those moments just before you would act, and why you consistently pull back. The answer, almost always, is that somewhere in your mind, not doing it feels safer than doing it wrong. The solution isn't more information. It's a shift in what you're actually trying to do. Not to be certain, but to take consistent, clear action and accept the outcome without it threatening who you are. The third trap might be the most universal of all. You've had a rough financial period. Maybe a business that didn't work out, a purchase that turned into a problem, a time when money was genuinely, seriously tight. And now, even when the circumstances have changed, something in you is still responding to that old experience, still flinching, still overcorrecting. Some people become reckless after a loss, chasing what they lost, trying to fix it fast. They're not making a new decision. They're reacting to the old one. Others go the opposite direction, so risk-averse after one bad experience that they avoid every financial decision, even good ones, even necessary ones. In both cases, the present moment is being filtered through the past. The current situation isn't being seen clearly. It's being seen through the lens of what happened before. Every financial situation you face has its own context, its own variables, its own possibilities. When you drag your emotional history into every new decision, when every money situation carries the weight of every previous one, you can't see it for what it actually is. You're not responding to what's in front of you. You're responding to a story. So what does it actually look like to think differently? It starts with letting go of one of the most persistent and most damaging beliefs most of us carry about money. The belief that good decisions should guarantee good outcomes. This sounds simple, but sit with it for a moment. We live in a world of uncertainty. Every financial decision, every investment, every purchase, every career move is made with incomplete information. And yet, most of us are quietly, relentlessly trying to be certain, waiting until we're sure, avoiding action until we can guarantee the result. The alternative is thinking in probabilities. Not asking, will this definitely work, but asking, does this give me a better chance than not doing it? Not demanding that every decision be right, but making better decisions consistently, and accepting that even good decisions will sometimes produce bad outcomes. This is the quiet discipline that separates people who build stable financial lives from people who stay stuck. Not more information, not better luck, not a higher income, a different relationship with uncertainty, a willingness to act without guarantee, and the emotional steadiness to not be derailed when things don't go your way. Thinking differently about money isn't about becoming cold or detached or calculating in some robotic way. It's actually the opposite. It's about becoming more honest, more present, more clear. It requires separating your self-worth from your net worth, understanding that a bad financial decision doesn't make you a bad person. It makes you someone who made a decision that didn't work out. And that person can make a different decision next time. It requires sitting with uncertainty without letting it paralyze you, accepting that you will sometimes be wrong, and that being wrong is part of the process, not proof that you should stop. It requires looking at each financial situation with fresh eyes, not through the lens of the last one, but clearly, in the present moment, for what it actually is. None of this is easy. It takes time. It takes practice. And most importantly, it takes a willingness to be honest with yourself about the real reasons behind your financial decisions. Not the reasons you tell other people.
Not the reasons that sound responsible. The real ones. The emotional ones. The ones rooted in fear or ego or old pain you've been carrying for longer than you realize. When you can see those, really see them, something shifts. The money problems don't disappear overnight, but the way you relate to them changes. And that changes everything that follows. The question was never really about the money. It was always about how we think.
If this resonated with you, I'd love to hear what money belief you've had to unlearn. Leave it in the comments. Subscribe for new documentary videos every week. And if you know someone who might need to hear this, share it with them.